Barkeep.
Don't call me barkeep, Grandma.
You don't call me Grandma. I won't call you barkeep.
But you really are my grandma.
And you really are a barkeep.
What do you want?
Another rusty nail, if you please.
You haven't finished that one.
If you please.
Just so you know, we're running low on Grandview.
More tragic news I've never heard. Did you know that the Rusty Nail was Sammy Davis Jr.'s favorite cocktail?
Is that right?
It's cold as hell out there.
Brian! Such a handsome fellow. Come keep a lonely lady company.
You know Mom's looking for her.
She's fine.
I'm fine, Brian. Your mother worries too much.
Busy night, huh?
2 accountants were in earlier. They had a white wine and a seltzer.
Whoa, you may be able to close up early.
Yeah, fortune smiles upon me.
Lindsey, make your brother a rusty nail.
That's okay.
Go ahead and make it. It's cold out there.
Really, I'm fine.
Do you even know what goes into a rusty nail?
I don't, actually.
Ah, you're squandering your youth. Lindsey, make the drink. Watch carefully, Brian. You'll learn something. 2 ounces of Scotch whiskey. Blended is traditional, but make sure it's a quality label. I like Dewar's 12-year. Personal preference. 1/2 ounce of Drambuie. Shake vigorously and pour over ice. Garnish with a twist of lemon, and there you have it. Simple, elegant, classic. When you die and go to heaven, this is the drink St. Peter will hand you out the gate.
I'm an atheist.
What kind of nonsense is that?
Actually, I think I'm coming down with a cold.
Drink it. This will stop any cold in its tracks. I was just telling your sister that the Rusty Nail was Sammy Davis Jr.'s favorite drink.
Oh, you don't say.
I met him once, you know.
Sure you did.
Actually, I met the entire Rat Pack.
Get out of town.
Not all at once, you understand. Separate encounters.
I've got to hear this.
You have heard it, Lindsey, many times.
Just let her tell it.
Why do you encourage her?
This was years ago, of course. I'm stopped at a gas station, not paying much attention because I'm thinking about the potato salad in the back seat. Wonder if it's going to spoil before I get to the picnic.
Last time she told the story was deviled eggs.
There's a Negro walking by the car, and I say to him, "Boy, could you put $2 in and check the oil?"
You see, you get her started.
"I'm sorry, ma'am," he says, very polite, "but I don't work here." I look up, and it's Sammy Davis Jr.
No.
My hand to God.
The Candyman?
The one and only.
Mr. Bojangles.
In the flesh.
Mr. Entertainment himself.
That's the one.
What did you do, Grandma?
I got right out of my car and I kissed him on the cheek. I don't quite know what came over me, but he was awfully gracious, I have to say. Such a nice man.
Amazing.
Have you heard the version where Sammy Davis Jr. actually pumps her gas and washes her windshield before she realizes who it is?
Let it go, Brian.
You think those were details she forgot this time or just embellishments?
Why can't you just let it go?
Why do you encourage her?
Are you gonna finish that?
I doubt it.
Another round, barkeep. One for me and one for my handsome friend here.
Mom's gonna be pissed you let her drink this much.
She's a grown woman, Brian. I don't let her do anything.
Oh, you encourage her.
Girl's gotta make a living.
Mm.
Now, Peter Lawford. He and I and Judy Garland watched the moon landing on a TV set in the lobby of a Holiday Inn in Pasadena, California.
Peter Lawford and Judy Garland? Wow.
Why are you acting like you've never heard this before?
Tell the story, Grandma.
So it's just me, Peter Lawford, and Judy Garland.
Never mind how any of these people came to be in the Holiday Inn in a lobby in California. Those details are never part of the story.
Peter Lawford kept asking Judy Garland how they got those monkeys to fly in The Wizard of Oz. Can you beat that? Man's landing on the damn moon, and he's asking Judy Garland about flying monkeys. She just shushed him. She was looking at the TV screen as if it was showing us miracles. As for myself, I couldn't have cared less what was on the TV. Here I am. I'm sitting with Peter Lawford and Judy Garland. I mean, we could have been watching a test pattern for all I cared.
Well, according to Wikipedia, Judy Garland died on June 22nd, 1969. And the moon landing was a month later, July 20th, 1969.
Why do you do this?
As you see, Grandma's story can't be true.
Don't call me Grandma.
What does it matter? Why do you even care?
Hey, it matters. There's only one true version of the events. She either met the Rat Pack or she didn't. Or she met some of them and not others. Or she thinks she met them, but she's getting confused. Or she's deliberately lying to us. We're not talking about opinions or moral ambiguity here. These are events. They either happened or they didn't.
So let's just agree they happened.
But this one didn't.
What about Joey Bishop, Grandma? Did you meet Joey Bishop backstage at Caesar's Palace?
Yeah, pouring up drinks in her and she'll met Lee Harvey Oswald on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository.
Sure, I met Joey Bishop. I told you, I met the entire Rat Pack. I even shook his hand, too. Why wouldn't I? It was Joey Bishop. The least talented of them all as far as I'm concerned, but at the time, the only one still living.
So this would have been, what, the early 2000s? Where do you think we were when this was happening? Seems like something that would have come up at the time.
Listen, I've got nothing against the man. He just wasn't funny. Never was. I told him so, too. Shook his hand and told him he wasn't funny. You know what he said to me? He said, "That's the first thing my wife told me when we met." That wasn't a line either. I found out later that was true.
Did you get his autograph?
Of course she didn't get his autograph. That would be independent proof, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't know. If she had one, you'd probably say she forged it.
Are you kidding me? Grandma's handwriting is so bad to this day you don't know if Grampy was killed by a bus or a bear.
Grandma, how did Grampy die?
Grampy died?
She doesn't remember. So what? What does it matter? Her husband's gone just like... He's just gone.
Because there's one right answer and she doesn't remember it. But we treat her Rat Pack stories as gospel. Even when the gospel keeps turning up new holes, keeps changing.
As far as she's concerned, they're true. If they're true in her mind, what does it matter?
It matters. It makes a difference.
Not to her.
Grampy died?
Tell us about meeting Dean Martin.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Tell us the Dean Martin story and the Frank Sinatra story and the Don Rickles story.
Don Rickles was not a member of the Rat Pack. He was a Rat Pack hanger-on.
Go on. Tell the Dean Martin story.
Well, first of all, you need to know that Dean Martin loved comic books and hated elevators. Those two facts in confluence are the reason why we met. This was in the lobby of an office building in New York City. Dean Martin had a meeting of some sort on the 9th floor. The rest of his entourage had gone up in the elevator, but of course he was taking the stairs. He really, really, really hated elevators. He thought they were nothing more than mobile coffins. So, he's walking across the first floor of this office building all by himself, and he passes a newsstand with a comic book rack. He loved comic books. Did you know that? He was usually too busy or too embarrassed to buy them for himself, so he'd have somebody else do it for him, usually Jerry Lewis. But on this particular day, he was all by himself on account of refusing to ride up in the elevator. So, for once, he decided to buy some comics for himself. But he didn't have his wallet on him. I tell you, that's a true sign of success. You get rich and famous enough, you never have to carry a wallet again. Well, I just happened to be at that same newsstand with your mother, buying her a candy bar. Baby Ruth, I think it was. That was your mother's favorite back then. And that's when Dean Martin asked me to loan him $5 so he could buy himself some comic books. Well, of course I did it. It was Dean Martin. He wrote down my name and address and promised to send me a check right away. But he never did. He died owing me $5.
Has Mom ever independently verified this one?
Mom would probably deny it out of spite.
Or, out of reality?
Your mother is a very angry woman.
We can't all go around creating our own realities.
Everyone creates their own reality. Every day. You, me, Grandma. Reality is just our 5 senses collaborating with our brains to try to make meaning out of life.
Wrong. There's one objective reality, Lindsey. Just one. And anything that goes against that or strays from reality is, to be frank, a lie, plain and simple. And not to get grandiose, but the only way we can have a society is if we can all agree on that. Every time we lie to others or even ourselves, we're helping to drag society back towards the jungle.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel.
Share a cigarette, dollface?
You can't smoke in here, Grandma.
She's not asking if she can smoke. You know this, Brian.
Hey, if you can pretend you haven't heard these stories before, why can't I?
That's what Sinatra said to me. Share a cigarette, dollface? I'm in an elevator in Las Vegas and Frank Sinatra gets on and asks me if I want to share a cigarette.
Last time it was a nightclub in Miami, not an elevator in Las Vegas.
Just let her tell the story.
We spent the next few minutes passing a Lucky Strike back and forth. I didn't even smoke, but who cares? It's Frank Sinatra.
Who is known for sharing cigarettes with strangers in elevators.
Sinatra had such small hands. Delicate, like a woman's.
I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, sure you did.
Why are you so cynical?
Why are you so gullible?
I am not gullible.
You're either gullible or you're deliberately enabling her confabulations. It's one or the other.
Listen, I know I get confused sometimes, but you get to be my age, you don't measure life with numbers or dates. You measure it with the stories you tell. These are my stories, Brian, and maybe someday after I'm gone, you and Lindsey will keep me alive with the stories you tell about me.
I think you can count on that.
Let's just make sure they're true, all right?
The truth isn't all it's cracked up to be, Brian. It'll only get you so far.
Hey, where are we without the truth, Lindsey?
Let me ask you this. Why did you come here tonight?
To get a drink.
Is that really true? You hardly touched your rusty nail.
I didn't much care for it, actually.
You could have asked me to make you something different, but you didn't.
Okay, fine. Mom asked me to come find Grandma. Okay.
Don't call me Grandma.
Well, you found her. Why don't you go call Grandma? Not Grandma. Why don't you go call Mom and tell her where she is?
Hey, maybe I will.
Please don't. Let me enjoy myself just a little while longer, okay? What's the harm in that? You know how your mother is.
That's Mom now.
Are you gonna answer it?
I've got to.
Please don't tell her I'm here.
Brian, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna lie.
I don't know.